How are you? How's it going? Let's start with the news about what's happening around the world. Hey, well, things are getting really intense with the situation between Russia and Ukraine. It's reaching another level. Vladimir Putin looks nervous, and this might be the most dangerous moment for Russia. The news hasn't been in his favor. The thing is, May has been the worst month in recent years of this war in terms of losing territory. That has them nervous as well. Nope. Well, today buildings are collapsing in Ukraine, and unfortunately, there are believed to be hundreds of people trapped under the rubble, which has obviously been... But not only that, but also everything that's happening in the world in every sense. Now, international geopolitics, technological issues, and also some surprising technological advances. Let's get into the details of what's happening in the world, and I think we should start with this image, right? This one right here. Wow. Well, remembering that episode where Mr. Burns appeared green, right? Radioactive. Well, that same color, that same green color, appears as a luminous glow over the skies of the nuclear city, so to speak, of Zaporizhzhia. This draws attention because there are attacks happening in Muertos, many areas of Ukraine. We are going to look at images while we discuss what is known to have happened in Zaporizhzhia up to now. Look, this is one image, and this is another image in the background, that greenish color that is appearing in Zaporizhzhia. We have to remember that this area already has several warnings. Just 2 days ago, they attacked one. What do they call this? Nuclear turbine, right? One of the turbines they use for cooling. It was reportedly damaged, but supposedly without any nuclear leaks. Obviously, they blamed each other. Although the IAEA has pointed out that whoever takes or has control of the plant is responsible. And this obviously now falls on Russia because they have that area occupied, even though they have been asked time and again to return this area. Obviously, taking it back by force is very complicated because just imagine the risks involved. But there are also more images. This is an image in which, well, this ambassador appears, the UN ambassador, right?
The representative of Russia at the UN.
Exactly. Let's listen to him.
The wall of a building, the consequences wouldn't be limited to the fire, which was good.
There it is. There's part of the dubbing, but in English. According to what the Russian envoy reports, he supposedly said, well, what if? Right? If the drone that hit Romania had been theirs, it would have brought down the whole roof and not just left 2 people injured. That's really shameless. I mean, it's like saying we've already had a lot of experiences with how they damage civilian buildings, right? So we already know the kind of damage they do. So, well, it's not ours because ours would do even more, right? You say, just imagine that going to say that at the UN, honestly, inside, he must be laughing, right? Because those are messages that have everything except diplomacy, right? Obviously. And, well, this topic isn't really surprising anymore, is it? You can also see hundreds of people right now, if not thousands, right? Heading to shelters all over Ukraine. This is the Kyiv metro, where people are settling in to spend the whole night underground, getting ready for what is known to be a massive attack right now from Russia against Ukraine. This image here also shows a bit more of what these people look like over there, right? At this point, they don't even know where to go, right? They really don't know where to hide. Honestly, it's unbelievable. Here as well, we're seeing this would already be part of these first attacks. What happened there?
Well, right now what's being reported is a massive attack with missiles and drones in several cities in Ukraine, including Kyiv, and, well, damage to a building, to residential buildings. Right now, so far, they're talking about 9 people who have lost their lives, 89 injured, but, well, these numbers may change over the next few hours. And, well, Kyiv was basically the target of Russian missiles and drones where the main impact of today's Russian attack was felt. The first explosions, they started around 1:30 a.m. local time, just before the air raid alert was declared. And well, the Ukrainian government has been preparing people because they knew this was going to happen. And well, new explosions happened starting at 2:15, and by 4 in the morning, there were brief power outages. Shortly after, the mayor of Kiev, Vitaly Klitschko, this man who used to be a boxer, confirmed that several neighborhoods were experiencing power outages due to the blackout, to the Russian attack, and as a consequence of a shooting attack in the Podyansky district. Says the structural components of a 9-story building collapsed, and there may be people trapped under the rubble. According to what the mayor reports, damage has also been reported in a 15-story residential building and another 24-story building in Solomiansky, as well as in Plachenko. Drone debris fell near a daycare center, and a fire broke out on the grounds of a building under construction in the Volonsky district.
Well, they keep appearing, as I was telling you, about different moments, right? For example, what we're seeing here is a successful interception of a Russian short-range ballistic missile, possibly with a cluster warhead based on the way it explodes. It's reported in this image. A few minutes ago, as they say in the Ukrainian capital, this happened when a Patriot, a Mim 104, was the one that shot down this missile. Another image that has surprised people is what we're seeing here.
Here we're seeing one of the drones that hit an electric car dealership. Yes, I think it's a Chinese brand over there in Kiev. And well, obviously with electric vehicles, the batteries cause fires that are dangerous and actually very hard to put out.
Exactly. Another thing that stands out is these attacks. They're, well, more attacks. These would supposedly be with missiles, right? Yes. This is also, well, part of what is being observed, and the situation there is tremendous. And on the other hand, well, this is on the Russian side, right? What's happening there?
These have been attacks that have been happening at refineries, right? I think so.
Well, apparently, right? I think this is the one from... No, this is the one from... What's it called?
The one on the highway that goes, yes?
The one that goes to Crimea, the one that carries...
Exactly. What they carry there are supplies. It could be weapons. It could be gasoline, gas, diesel. It could be whatever. Yes, whatever. They can carry a lot of things there. This road is basically under attack. If they see it's a truck that's transporting, that's carrying cargo, they attack it. That's the situation. Well, that road is terrible. Basically, there's no way through. And right now they're desperate inside Crimea, because this occupied area thought it would always be supplied by Russia, until suddenly, well, the supply just stops. Also, these images that have been circulating. What's happening there?
There we're seeing a plane, a KZ-16A fighter jet intercepting what appears to be a Russian KH-101 cruise missile.
Well, also, I don't know if you managed to see the plane. It goes by really quickly at the top. Let's listen. It puts music on it. Now we can't.
They love music.
Yes, they always put music on everything. But well, there it appears at the top. Let's see if you can see it. There's the plane. There's the plane where you go by. It's, well, a fighter jet.
Destroyed. The missile is destroyed there.
Exactly. An F-16, right? That's an F-16 from the flight team. No, actually, sorry. Fighting Falcon from the 107th Aviation Brigade of the Ukrainian Air Force, right? Which is also part of the report.
At least they play good music because... Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but in the US military, they play the Macarena, but slowed down. Why?
Why the Macarena and why slowed down?
It's something I seriously question.
Also, the Arabs play things too because, well, obviously, we get to see a lot of images with the sound they send, the ones these groups send, or whether it's the military bloggers, etc. So suddenly you joke around, like, look at these, for example, the Iranians. I see that they send a lot of... well, pop music, but Iranian. So it sounds funny because, well, it's Persian mixed with pop and all that. But, well, in the end, it sounds a bit similar to the style of pop that India uses. But with another language, right? Obviously. Well, then.
The Macarena, I don't know. The Macarena, tell him to meet someone from the higher government. Not the slowed down version.
Yeah, it kind of kills the energy, right? If you're going to slow it down, make it like Los Angeles Azules or something. If you want to vibe, really go for it. But, well, that's how things are in this matter. We're going to keep updating because this is still developing. Yeah.
Among the latest updates, Zelensky just appeared this morning. They're already on June 2nd over there, obviously. He said intelligence alerts about Russian attacks remain active, urging people to stay in and remain vigilant. A massive attack is still possible. Our airspace defenders have been preparing for it. They're ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as much as possible with the resources available. Because we have to remember that while Zelensky has been asking for support from both Congress and the government, well, from President Donald Trump for more resources for defense.
Exactly, right? It's well, a topic that is causing trouble right now with the issue of resources and with the issue of the United States providing support, right? It was kind of like the last thing was, well, are we going to support each other or not? At least so we know, basically, right? But anyway, let's move on to other matters. Jorge, it's great to see you. Jorge Hernandez.
Hello, Jorge. How are you?
Hey, you know what they say, you won't die, because I was thinking about you today, Jorge. Oh, that's it. I was thinking about the foreign friends I know who live here, who are already basically Mexican or have lived here their whole lives. And one of them is Jorge.
Because it's Jorge.
Jorge, well, it's just that, hey, yes, he is Mexican, but he was born in Argentina. Okay. Or, we Mexicans are born wherever we want. Nothing. Exactly. So, well, Jorge was born over there. Well, yeah, if I made a mistake, tell me Jorge. Maybe I got it wrong, Jorge. But as far as I know, yes. As far as I know, that's the story. But sometimes my memory fails me there. But as far as I know, yes. Hi, Jorge, Panterita, Joel, Rivas, Sylvia, big greetings. I'm talking about the World Cup since it's currently happening here in Iran. Well, I guess Argentina is first and Mexico is second place, right? I don't know. Joel Rivas, how have you been? Guillermo Nyongo, how have you been? Your name is very interesting. Big greetings. MT, how have you been? Also, Ricardo, how are you? Let's move on to other important matters. Hey, so this image comes up. Well, these images are showing up on social media where there are, well, really heavy rains. Today, was it today or yesterday? Yesterday, we were telling you about this issue. I mean, about how it was going to be, that we were really surprised by the amount of water. And we said, hey, well, we have to give the alert because the next 15 days are going to be very intense. The first 15 days of June, for those who didn't see the report yesterday. Well, look, I'll tell you this in advance. And if not, please check it. But it's a lot of water. We're talking about areas that are going to get 200, 300 millimeters, which is more water than even a hurricane brings sometimes. Yes, it's a lot of water. Even if it's spread out over 15 days, obviously, it's a lot of water. In 15 days, that's significant. From Florida, all along the east, from Canada to Oaxaca. Not everywhere, not all areas, but there are many places with a huge accumulation of water. Practically, as I was saying, the center of the country, the entire southeast towards all the southeastern states of the United States, even Florida, although more towards Alabama and its neighboring states. And from there, if you go up, there's a lot of water coming in June, right? June is going to be very rainy. And today, well, when we see this report, I said, wow, this happened very, very quickly because I expected this kind of thing maybe in 1 or 2 weeks, but not so soon, right? So, well, that's how Coajimalpa is, according to what Metro Aila reports, Mexico City. This is through social media, through Twitter. Also, well, an image that, look, we should analyze it. Astrid just sent it to me, but we'll have to check it out because this is a Brazilian guy, right? I don't know. It's like he's doing a live on Instagram, right?
That's what we call
Like a live and well, look, he was apparently hearing some weird things in the sky, something like that. And then suddenly he sees this. Let's see if I can see it around here.
What is... Oh my God. Guys, this can't be happening. What's going on?
What's wrong, Astrid?
Yeah. It's very funny how he comments on everything that's happening to him, everything that's going on. I don't know what's on that mountain, but it's pretty strange. Now, I didn't see it fly. I didn't see it come out. So, well, that part is still unclear. I'm watching the whole video to see if it comes out, but it didn't. So, well, I'm left wondering what that thing is up there. But anyway, it's interesting. We'll be analyzing it later. Yeah.
Okay, I said Pepe has to see it, but, well, I didn't expect him to know everything right now. Yes.
Yeah. I'm watching it because I was waiting to see if something else would happen. right? But anyway,
Yeah, I don't know.
Where
the Kilauea is always present, never absent.
height of 200 meters. I mean, what you're seeing there is about 200 meters high. And well, they're also reporting the fall of Tefra and something they call Pele's hair. I imagine that's what it's called, right? Yeah. She's their goddess. So, yeah.
Look, just imagine. Do the math. I don't know what building they live in or what kind of house. But what would you say? A two-story house? Maybe 8 meters or something like that, right? More or less. Imagine that. The little house would look so tiny, right? And all the lava would be everything else. I mean, those kinds of fountains are really huge. But since there's no perspective, since there's nothing around to measure it by, suddenly it just looks like a little lava fountain, right? But it's actually a massive fountain. This is reported by the USGS, the United States agency specialized in volcanoes. Also, well, this is being observed. What are we seeing there?
Here, what are we seeing? Here we're seeing a fire that broke out in Indonesia at a market. It's called Jiang Market in Temayoran, over there in Indonesia in the north of Jakarta. And, well, it really caught a lot of attention.
And I'll stick with this image, which is the one that's most. Look, I'll stop it there. This is the one where you can best see the perspective of the size of the fire in Indonesia. Look at the size. This is an aerial shot. Look at the houses, okay? And look at the size of what happened there. Well, there's the fire, right? I mean, how many have we had in these past weeks, right? Quite a few events like that. I don't know, right? This topic really catches my attention, but well, they just say it's going to be investigated, right? And that's where it ends. But well, we'll see if there's any result. We'll follow up on it. It really caught my attention. Among unusual phenomena, there's one called sprites or red sprites. It's a natural event that's hard to capture because it's rare. The camera's sensitivity is very high. And with the human eye, you would see it. If you pay attention, you might see them if you're lucky. These electrical discharges in the mesosphere would have triggered these flashes called sprites, which only last for a fraction of a second. So it's too fast and too subtle. So capturing them is only possible with special cameras, and it takes many months of work to detect them. Here, they detected it on a mountain in Tibet at 5,000 meters of altitude. I mean, that's how these photographers managed to capture this kind of phenomenon. Otherwise, it's extremely difficult in a city with all the visual pollution, light pollution and all that. It's practically impossible to see a phenomenon like that, right? But anyway, let's move on to other image. This image, well, is related to what's happening in technological matters. Suddenly, there are some surprising things. Look, what we're seeing is a kind of, let's say, glass. It's not just any glass. It's not a regular disc. It's a disc made of glass, right? It's something like that. It's a disc. Well, it's a glass disc made of glass. That's right. It's made of glass of glass. Some scientists would have managed to create a tiny glass disc that has the capacity to store 360 terabytes. I mean, if a gigabyte is already a lot of information, just imagine a terabyte or imagine 360 terabytes.
I can imagine.
Impressive. Also, what's interesting about this disk is that it's made in such a way that it can last thousands of years because it's kind of like the thread. And then there's the idea. And what would happen if we wanted to leave information for other civilizations in the future, right? But many of the disks or materials that hold information have a very short lifespan. Even the best ones might last a few hundred years. But here we're talking about something that could last billions of years, right? Imagine that. So yeah. Because it's a special kind of glass.
Yeah, I guess sometimes yes.
Exactly. I mean, so that's it. I mean, at least now we'll have to wait billions of years to see if it's true, right? Well, just waiting there. If not, then what's your job? I can't wait.
To see if it doesn't melt because, well, glass melts.
So if you know someone who's immortal, please let them know.
The gentleman won't even notice.
They're requesting that you send them your LinkedIn. If you're immortal, there must be about 10 in the whole world, surely. Well, you know, I'm immortal. And honestly, I didn't have a job. That's the truth. I could take care of this little disc for you.
And that's how we do it, Israel.
I already said it. They're going to say it too, right? So that's the only one. But now let's move on to other important matters as well. Zuna. Hey, so there's an earthquake in Europe. Where was it? What's going on?
In Italy, a 6.2 quake, pretty strong in Calabria, in the Calabria region, which is in the south of Italy. They must have been really scared since it happened early in the morning. Imagine being woken up suddenly like that. Luckily, there are no reports of damage. For now, the earthquake originated almost 250 kilometers deep. So it's very, very deep in the Tyrrhenian Sea off the coast of Cosenza. And the movement was felt in much of the region, even in the municipality of Catanzaro, in Cosenza, and in Naples and other towns in the Vesuvius area. This is what local media are reporting. No damage or impacts have been reported so far, although the authorities are still monitoring the situation. There have been no aftershocks.
Of course, they have to. We'll say, well,
Proceed in depth, it was felt.
yes, however you want. Something is 6.1, however you want. Now, it's good that it was very deep because earthquakes in these parts of Italy, especially in the historic areas, often cause a lot of collapses. That's true as well. Well, it's important to keep that in mind as well. Okay, so another one of the images. This is an image. Well, what? This image has been talked about a lot today. In fact, earlier today, we managed to show part of this image where a missile appears, right? A missile, which is fine. Let's put it this way, according to what is known. Let's see. Let's put it there. I think those are just archive images they use, right? But anyway, those are the images they've shown while a report was being given by the UKMTO, which is this organization that handles the logistics and shows how things are. This is over there in the sea, in the Strait of Hormuz, specifically according to the British. So in this report, according to what they say, there was a ship. Look, in fact, I still have it marked here from the afternoon because, well, this had just happened. At about 40 nautical miles, an attack was reportedly carried out around here, according to what they know, with a cruise missile, in retaliation for something. The United States did, which was a deactivation by the United States. According to them, Iran attacked a ship in Kuwait. Apparently, it's a cargo ship. Well, today, there was a lot of tension. Actually, it started last night, right? There started to be some tension there. Basically, attacks. 2 days ago, there was another attack in that same area, but this time on a US base. There were even some minor injuries on the US side. And what caught my attention was that there wasn't a very strong reaction. I mean, it's clear that if things were really heated, the United States would have reacted in a big way, and that didn't happen. So I think it was also a sign for the Iranians that an important negotiation was on the horizon. And then today, the scolding that Donald Trump gave Netanyahu shows that there really is an interest in negotiating. Negotiation, at least for now, isn't happening. Exactly.
Yes, it kills the vibe. It kills the vibe. This annoyance, right? Because he acted like nothing was happening and immediately posted a tweet saying, no, I already talked. I already stopped everything. They're going to calm down now. And well, anyway, Israel responds like, if they attack us, we're going to attack.
Of course, that's what they were going to say. But in the end, well, go ahead and call now. What's going on?
It's a hailstorm that looks really strong there in the United States, in Denver, in the center, where, well, the hail was said to be about the size of a golf ball. Just to give you an idea.
Now it's really intense. Someone started collecting images of what animals do when there's hail and things like that. What do they do? Well, a lot of them do nothing. They just stay like this. Look,
And the hits.
they don't care about that. I mean, maybe we're just too dramatic. We're too dramatic.
The hail hasn't hit yet, and it really hurts when it hits your back.
I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. Look,
Well, if you leave, let me know.
I'm going to do this. Let's see what happens. That was a good one. He died from a big hailstone.
It's just that lately, they've been really big. I mean, not long ago, there was, I don't remember where, in a part of the United States, and there was hail.
Oh, God, guys, they just start recording in the middle. They don't do anything. Seriously. Today, I can't forget it because there are many rights involved. But this one is really crazy. Let's see if I can put it on Telegram. I'll put it on Telegram so you can check it out. It's really cool. It's like someone who's on a farm. So he noticed that their behavior is very different from what humans normally do, right? It's like they're always hiding, and when it rains, the animals like go out. Yeah, that's right. They just go out. He's living with a cinchona watching like that. Wind, rain, and hail. All three things. Thank you. That's true. And then the little duck comes out, and it's looking up like nothing's happening. They also put one of those birds, like a cardinal. I think it was a red cardinal, right? Those are really beautiful. On a branch, and it's all ruffled up, right? The wind is blowing. The branch is like this, and the bird is just hanging on there. Like it's nothing, man. It's like they're crying, and it's crazy. But anyway, animal behavior really catches my attention sometimes because it's so different. I mean, it's crazy. Humans, we tend to exaggerate a lot, especially for kids. Now, this one is also there. This is another picture from the market over in Indonesia, right? Well, we're going to keep seeing images coming out shortly of what happened up north in Jakarta, in northern Indonesia. Also, well, another picture. Well, it's not the same. It's not the same one. This one is great. This one is really great. It's very interesting. Check out what happened in Brazil, right? This is in Brazil, isn't it? At least that's what I think.
This is in Brazil.
Look, this man is sitting. It's like in Mexico, where in Mexico, there's a person in charge of pumping the gas, because in the United States, you get out and pump the gas yourself. Not here. Here, there's someone there who pumps the gas for you, asks if you want your windshield cleaned. I don't know. There's always some extra service in case you want to obviously tip them or something, right? So he was there, I imagine at night, just calmly, not expecting any customers. And suddenly, well, what seems to be I see it as a leopard, I see it as a leopard. It's a jaguar. Well, a jaguar, right? Let's say a jaguar. It shows up, sniffs him, and he doesn't even react. Supposedly, what he did when he saw it was precisely not to react, because he knew that just like with a dog or other animals, if you run, the first thing they're going to do is hunt you, right? So, well, like cats, exactly. Excellent reaction from the man to stay still. Yes, and not do absolutely anything, right? It's just that the man wasn't even asleep nor anything like that, right?
He's my kid.
He's my kitty. This one. Well, there it is. Yes, the jaguar. And there's also this one. This is detected here in Mexico.
A jaguarundi. It's really hard to see a jaguar, but well, they're gonna capture it with these cameras that detect movement. I think you have to kind of
Exactly. It shows up there. It shows up around there. And then the government of Mexico shares this, the environmental authorities. Let me go full screen to see it. It's a jaguarundi. Those little animals are super hard to see. Honestly, it's really complicated. And look, there is Hondi jaguar. How are you? Yes, yes.
very beautiful.
Really beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. Well, that's what the environmental authorities share with NAMP, etc., who are, as I understand it, the ones who would have recorded. They recorded this. I think it's in Hidalgo, right?
And with this, it's officially confirmed that Hidalgo is home to 6 species of wild cats: the puma, the jaguar, the ocelot, the margay, the bobcat, and the jaguarundi or jaguarundi.
That's great. That's awesome. What an amazing image you got there. Let's move on to other matters. Let's move on to other important matters. Thanks. Hey, so an image has appeared that shows some little animals. This showed up in Monterrey. Hey, from having some really skinny bears, now they're really fat.
What happened Well, it's because of the rain. Now they can go eat over there in La Rioja, in San Pedro, in the wealthy areas. They're taking away really good trash, really good food from the wealthy areas.
Hey, the bears in Monterey are finding great food. Something's going on.
It's not winter. Do you agree?
No, they're really fat. So fat. Well, this was captured here in Nuevo León, here in Monterrey. In fact, these bears show up in the city. The truth is, what we're seeing here is really interesting.
I'm not sure why I didn't send you this one.
Well, it says in Kerala, India, they would have moved one more. I had this one in the morning. This one says they moved it. They moved the 50-meter image. This was in support of the Argentine national team. The people from Kerala in India are supporting really strongly.
And they're a team.
No, they're not my fans from Argentina. So, well, they made a huge 50-meter poster with each of the players with people shouting. That's how it goes.
Like the Argentinians are beating the fans.
Hey, okay.
Okay, I mean, Kerala is much better now.
No, not really.
Not really, not really.
Have Argentinians ever done something like this to show love?
That's good. That's how things are in that regard too. Let's get to what's happening in California, where they say they're going to release a bunch of sterile mosquitoes.
Right? Exactly. Well, Google has requested permission to release 32 million mosquitoes that would go to California and Florida. This is part of a program they have, which has been very successful, called the Buck. In it, they first breed a bunch, an army of mosquitoes that are sterile males, with the goal of obviously reducing the number of mosquitoes that transmit diseases. And well, this notice is given by the Federal Register, where it says that the United States Environmental Protection Agency is reviewing this request from Google to release up to 16 million mosquitoes annually in Florida and California, meaning 16 million in each state over a period of 2 years. And the EPA will decide whether to approve Google's request for this experimental use after a public comment period that ends on June 5. So, well, we have to remember that male mosquitoes don't bite. I mean, it's always the females that bite. But anyway, these don't bite or transmit diseases. And Google's main method is, the test consists of rearing these male mosquitoes so they carry a naturally occurring bacterium called Wolbachia, which prevents them from reproducing. In other words, it makes them sterile. And when they mate with females, well, they're not really going to have any offspring. I mean, those eggs will never hatch. So with this, the idea is to decrease the mosquito population with each generation.
I mean, it's pretty crazy because the other day, well, actually, it's been a while now, right? When we were talking about something similar that they did over there in Florida.
Yeah.
The scientists were saying, look, it's impossible to get rid of mosquitoes, and you don't want to get rid of them either because they're necessary. I mean, mosquitoes pollinate, they have many functions, they feed birds. So let's say mosquitoes are necessary. It's the problem is too many mosquitoes, or when non-native mosquitoes arrive from elsewhere carrying diseases and cause trouble. So the point is just to control them so there aren't too many. That's it. That's all we want. I mean, with this kind of thing and other tools, we want to do that control. Because sometimes the problem was that what they used to do was fumigate. In fact, they still do it here in Mexico, and they do it in many places. I mean, sometimes they're out on the streets and they spray, they fumigate, and it's still a chemical they're releasing into the air, right? I mean, in the end, well, it's supposed to be, and it didn't really get rid of them, and it didn't, yeah, I mean, because it's supposed to be, I mean, it is, this one, it's supposed to be low in toxicity for people, whatever you want, but it's still a chemical in the environment. So that's one way they found, at least, to considerably reduce the number of mosquitoes. But I insist, this is not the complete solution to the problem. Especially if you live in areas at risk for mosquitoes, you still need to protect yourself with mosquito repellents. If possible, make sure they're not made of those, what are they called? Those materials. Materiales, ¿cómo se llama? Non-toxic options exist, including those made from natural materials. Some flowers and plants also naturally repel mosquitoes. And having them doesn't get rid of the problem 100%, but it reduces it a lot because mosquitoes don't like certain plants. Citronella, among others, and a combination of them is better. So, well, if you have the chance, have them. Some sounds are said to scare them away, but I don't know how that works. There are even cell phone apps for this, right? We've tried them. Well, they do leave, at least temporarily. They do leave. I mean, apparently the sound does bother them. Honestly, I'm not sure. I do hear it. But if you remember, it was kind of annoying.
It can be a little annoying, but hey, this Google project, they've already tested it in Singapore. It was the first place where they used it, and they've managed to reduce between 80 and 90% of the Aedes aegypti mosquito population.
Which is the one they want to reduce. That's the situation. Let's discuss other important topics. Hey, there was a suspected case in Brazil, a second suspected case. It's already been ruled out. Suspicious, that's all. Anyway, they had to run the tests, and now it's known that it wasn't Ebola that was coming.
They had. Exactly. Today, the Brazilian government reported that the person who had symptoms similar to Ebola tested negative. Fortunately, the test to detect the virus came back negative, and well, the authorities also ruled out the first case a day later. So right now, Brazil doesn't have Ebola. There are no cases, no suspects, nothing.
Nothing at all. That's great. So that's the situation. Now, let's move on to another topic.
Well, today at the UN, 56 countries reported him. That's why we heard the representative of Russia at the UN. They reported that Russia has been attacking Romania. This is because of the drones that hit this building. And well, according to the Romanian Foreign Minister, Ana Silvia Tui, on the 3rd, the 28th, and the 29th of May, a Russian drone that was part of these attacks happening against Ukraine entered Romanian airspace and violated it on those days. International law was violated when it entered a space it shouldn't have entered. It exploded on a rooftop and, well, 2 people were injured. And well, today this call is being made, this criticism of the Russian government for these actions, which, well, it's not the first time, nor the second, nor the third. We don't even know how many times anymore. And honestly, they just ignore these warnings from the UN.
Yeah, no, they don't really care unless the things happening there are binding. But, well, that's how it is. Good evening. How are you? Jose Sara Teofe Mendez. Hello, Sylvia. How have you been? Great. Well, let's move on to other matters, other important topics as well. There's already a figure, right, about how oil prices are looking this morning over there in what's called in Asia. No. And it's not going up. It's not skyrocketing. It's not dropping either, but it's not skyrocketing. It's at 97. Now, it's slightly lower than how it closed. It closed at 98. I think it was 98.020, and now it's at 97. So that's very interesting. It means that it seems like they're taking this possible ceasefire, which Donald Trump is starting, in a rather abrupt way. Quite seriously, demand, let's say. Well, but that's it. And we'll see. I don't know if this will continue. How have you all been? How have you been doing?
Great as always, party guy, man of the world. That's it. He says, I'm already at the pre-party. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Tomorrow is your birthday.
I saw you. You definitely have a pre-party and post-party.
Pre-party, post-party, and racket party. Hey, but isn't it true, Jose, that you celebrate all month long? Is everything all month? Yes, all month or all of June.
That's cool.
Happy birthday.
Father's Day too, right?
June 2nd.
No. The whole month is Father's Day, right? The whole month. Yes, the whole month, like in May, right?
Greetings to MT. Yes, I'm leaving now. My little eyes don't like to read ugly things. Why?
What happened?
Oh, just playing with Panterita. Greetings. Greetings to Sylvia, who says, God willing, Pepe, may the war stop. Greetings.
Greetings. How have you been? Very good.
Greetings also to Ofe Mendez. How are you? Greetings, Ofe. What's up? To Riquelme. We also have Marcela Riquelme here. Come on, say hi. Greetings again to Dad, who today says happy 30th birthday to Tom Holland. He married Zendaya to Spider-Man. Also, Alanis Morissette, 52 years old, for those who don't know. Also, Morgan Freeman, 89 years old. I hope God is the same. The same.
May he grant you many more years.
And Amanda Miguel, 70 years old.
Amanda Miguel, just imagine.
And I will go in Amanda Miguel. Greetings to Ofe, Aster, and Pepe. Send their regards. Good evening, Ofe. Are you there?
What's up, Oaf? Greeting.
Greetings to Roberto Carreras. How are you, Roberto? So,
Who are the teammates? There are no soccer players. We're just talking about soccer now.
there are no soccer.
Greetings, he says, for the MT. Don't go, comadre. Greetings, Francisco Arce. How have you been?
Hey, is the birthday on the 29th of this month? Yes, for Tapatia from another group.
Also,
Awesome.
Today is your birthday from Ada. Ada made happiness.
She's good.
She gave a big hug. Have a great time. Thanks for joining us for a little while on your birthday.
Say hi to Christy. I had to put my little boy to bed, so I got here late.
That's great.
You go back and nothing happens.
Congrats to our colleagues, as Maria Elena says, right? Greetings to all the colleagues this June. Lucia Escudero says, if I may ask, which country is tougher, Ukraine or Iran? Which country would you prefer to go to war with and why? Thank you for your work. Good question, Lucia, and a big greeting all the way to Argentina. Yes, go ahead.
Greetings.
Here, I mean,
Would I rather go to war? Does that mean I'll fight him?
Them, I mean, who could you go to war with? So I'd rather settle with this or that.
I prefer the Iranians. I think the Ukrainians are too tough.
tougher, right?
Very tough. They're very tough because over there, the population supports the war, and in Iran, they don't. It's different.
Well, man, it's kind of hard. Because, look, yeah, I mean, both countries have good engineers. We have to remember that, well, in Ukraine, the USSR space and aeronautics program, or part of it, was carried out. I mean, they also had good engineers in the nuclear field.
They had weapons and
They have the largest nuclear plant. I mean, they would be more advanced in making a nuclear weapon, right? So maybe I would also prefer this one. If you're going to fight against one of the two, well, against the Iranians would be more logical. Besides, yes, because also you if you're going to go into a war, you have to think about whether, well, your warriors, your soldiers need to see an attack as justifiable, and that's harder. I mean, it's more closer to Ukrainian society, to a society from around here, right? Because, well, at least in terms of religion, there can be quite a few similarities. But with Iran, well, it's a bit different, especially because of the radicalism. So maybe with that, it could, I mean, yes, you would have to really think about what kind of war it would be. Because if it's a war from a distance, it would be really complicated. Both of them, right? There's some of those really complicated countries to go to war with. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would be very hard, as they're showing. They're showing that they're resilient. Se conocen. And what surprises me about Iran is that even with a good part of the population against them, they're still managing to sustain the conflict. I find it really incredible because at one point it seemed like that was going to, create more weakness. But so far, at least, it hasn't been like people expected. And that's the thing with Iran. Unlike Ukraine, well, there's the fact that they have a lot of enemies. Not just a lot, but big enemies. I mean, because here with Ukraine, the truth is they don't really have a bad relationship with Belarus. They have issues with Lukashenko, but not with Belarus itself. And they don't really have a bad relationship with Poland either. So then it would be difficult, right? I mean, who would you ally with? But is there really anyone to ally with? I mean, imagine all the Gulf countries that are after them. No. Yeah.
Yes, it would be much easier. And about Leo Garcia, years ago, I went to do some work in Tapachula, Mexico, in laboratories where they raised flies similar to mosquitoes, to fight the ones that harm the fruit.
Look, that's interesting. Who commented?
Aurelio Garcia.
That's interesting. I didn't know you were into those topics. Sending you a big greeting.
Greetings to Mauri and Mauricio. Wars are filling the air with pollutants. Oh, well, just now when we saw the image of the fire at the Cyker dealership there in Kiev, they asked everyone not to go out, not to get close to the area because, well, it produces smoke that is very toxic. That's it. Yeah. Greetings also to Sylvia. She says, congratulations to everyone who's celebrating a birthday, to Marvin, also to MT. She says, well, I'll stay for a bit and hear you insist. And Adaiso says, we're Mexicans, we get along with everyone. That's it.
greetings. Greetings to you too. Yes, that's true. Yes, it really is.
Greetings to Vic Sega, and he says, happy birthday to Panterita. Adilson is also here. Greetings to Adilson.
Greetings. How are you?
He says it was called Moscamet, to fight the Mediterranean flies that harm the fruits. Okay, that's very interesting. Sega says water and basic supplies have run out in Yucatan as they await hurricanes. It's now level 4 and everyone is scared. Which hurricane? Let's see, Vic. I mean,
No, there's no hurricane.
there's no hurricane, Vic. Yes, there's not. There is a strong storm coming, though. That's true.
There is, there's a, in the southern part, I mean, as for a hurricane right now, the possibility is very, very remote. You know, that in the next 7 days, a tropical storm could form in the southern part, right? Let's show it on the screen. This is what's being reported. Either way, we need to be ready, since this could surprise us.
Because hurricane season is about to start.
In 7 days from now, the chances increase by 40%. Yes, there it is, right? That's the probability right there. Normally, the first ones are milder, but don't let your guard down, especially in the Pacific, as we've already seen what can happen.
But I'm talking about Yucatan.
No, not in Yucatan.
In Yucatan, right?
Yes, no, not in Yucatan.
Switch to the Atlantic.
There's nothing in the Atlantic.
They say there's no activity in the next 7 days, just a lot of rain. No hurricanes, but we still need to be prepared, right?
Yes, exactly. Look, check it out. Check out the map. Go ahead. Here it is. Look. There's nothing. And here it is. Look. There isn't any cyclone in the next 7 days. I mean, there's absolutely nothing on the Yucatan side, right? I mean, in any case, yes, on the Pacific side, well, there's a phenomenon, but in any case, it would affect, well, more towards Guerrero, towards Oaxaca, right? That's the area that could be affected, right? Yes.
There it is. Greetings to Noah's dad. That joke is for those love-struck friends, you know. Carmen has had an albino baby. I'm not surprised with how much she drinks. Achoo! What's so cool about that? Well, the albino. No, I don't know. I know it.
Albino.
Oh, sorry. It just slipped out. But, you know, Mr. Painter says, greetings, guys. What would be your opinion on climate weapons? By any chance, does the United States use them in the conflict? Use them in the conflict with Iran? This year in Mexico, there wasn't as much drought. What climate weapon?
Yes. No, there is no climate weapon. That's just a conspiracy theory. Those kinds of structures, let's say, have been used. They've used them in Peru. They've used them in many other countries. And they've experimented a bit with that. But as a weapon itself, it doesn't work like that. Yes, there have been experiments with the weather. In fact, they've been experimenting for many years, but not to the extent of creating a hurricane or a tornado or things like that. No, that level hasn't been achieved. We haven't reached that point. And not only that, but rather it's more like we're controlling the weather less and less. It's more like the weather is controlling us. So there are cycles, right? Just like they've had years and years of drought. If those kinds of weapons existed, they would have already used them to prevent the droughts and the huge fires they've had. Actually, it's the opposite. We're still far from controlling the weather, right? Greetings to Maria Elena, who's always late. Hugs, my friends.
We have more greetings. Happy and wonderful start of the month. Sending you good vibes. Thank you for the information. Thank you so much, Maria Elena. It's a pleasure to always be here. Thank you very much. Greetings also to Panterita. And, well, it says here, where is Marcela? Greetings. Escudero says, well, the predictions of an economist who already guessed the last 3 World Cups and said that the Netherlands will win. He published it on the BBC.
Yes, I saw it, but they didn't mention it this morning. I haven't seen the BBC report, but I did see that there are people who have predictions, not just for 5 years, but for 8 or 9 World Cups. I mean, people who have managed to predict World Cups.
That would be great. They get to play in Monterrey.
Look, just imagine.
Imagine, kid.
Well, that would be really interesting, obviously.
Well, now we know who we're going to support.
I did it for him. No.
Well, okay. But yes. I saw the comment this morning. Someone else. I don't know if it was someone else or who did it, but let's see. Let's see if they get it. Right. Let's see. What's up, right? Betan says, how have you been? Greetings to the Dominican Republic.
Greetings.
Very good.
Greetings, MX500. Greetings from Texas to Guanajuato. Greetings, MX500.
What's up, MX500? Greetings.
Also, greetings to someone you greeted. Vic says, many thanks appear for us. He says he hopes the hurricane doesn't hit hard. A lot of people were talking about that. Thanks for clearing it up.
Greetings, Vic. Good evening.
You know, always here with the best information.
Yeah, no. Well, there's nothing for the Atlantic right now. So far, there hasn't even been a single sign that there's going to be anything for now, right? Yeah.
Greetings to visitors, good evening. Greetings from the dark side of the moon to hear the smell of gunpowder. Greetings to visitors. How have you been? Greetings to Guillermo Nyong'o, who said that Nyong'o is not his last name. That is the name of the class he teaches. That is Japanese. Okay.
Okay. Very good. Very interesting.
Greetings to Jalala. How are you, Jalala?
What's up?
Who else isn't greeting me? Jalala Circular. Greetings also to Ricardo Sandoval, who's watching us from Panama. Greetings.
Greetings.
Greetings to Sol Garcia.
How are you, Sol?
Well, we've already greeted Jorge. Yes, of course, we've already greeted Jorge. No respondido, Jorge. Greetings to Martin Gutierrez. He says what stress one must live with every night in Ukraine. Every day you don't know if you will have life or a home. God, what anxiety to live this way for 5 years.
Yes, it's really tough. Of course. Yes, no.
That's it. And there's a change. I mean, they're studying the psychology of these kids. Like, well, they're not normal kids anymore. Do you agree? I mean, right now they're super responsible kids, but they also tend to be violent. I mean, in moments of stress, they tend to resort to violence, which is something very common.
Of course, because of the stress.
Why? Because of that.
You don't say? In Ukraine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Says PBC says Trump stopped weapons purchases for Taiwan. Well, they're dealing with that, right? I mean, they're kind of negotiating, so to speak, not supporting Taiwan too much, but not abandoning Taiwan completely either. Let's say that's the point. I imagine they're negotiating with Xi Jinping. Lucia says, cheers. Greetings. Pepe says the problem. The audio sometimes on YouTube, I noticed that when you can't hear the language change, the English part, and then you hear it in Spanish. Exactly. I already turned it off. I already did. In fact, I already did. We removed that dubbing option because it was causing problems with the audio. It's no longer dubbed. Thank you for noticing. Several people mentioned it to us, and that's when we found the audio error behind this whole problem. Well, it was precisely because of that dubbing tool. So here, well, the truth is that this is a channel for the Hispanic community. We do have a channel that's in English, but some videos are translated into English. Well, we can't do it with all the news stories, and it's just in English, 100%, yes, but we can't do live streams or anything there. We just do it here. Marilena says, hello, thank you all. Great, Marilena. How have you been? Greetings, Marcela.
He says, and a comment, I have a contact on Facebook with a girl who lives in Kyiv, Ukraine, and she has a son who's about 4 years old. The boy always looks scared, nervous. You never see him smiling or happy. Yes, the truth is that it's very complicated to live like that. Greetings to Marvin. Well, I remember that's a story from another case. When I was a little girl, I was in a school where sometimes children from other parts of the world would arrive. And one time, some siblings from Israel came. And when they heard the alarm that recess was over, that it was time to go out, they would get hysterical. They really struggled to adapt to the sound because they associated it with attack alerts. So, well, after this, they're going to have to work a lot with the children, with the soldiers who return from the war, because they need really strong psychological support. And obviously with couples too, because whenever someone comes back from war, they said that last time in 2014, those who returned caused an increase in domestic violence. So all of that has to be addressed as well. Of course. Greetings to Marvin. He says, hello, Pepe and Astrid. Thank you for the news. This won't end and everyone is against each other. Marvin says they want war. Greetings to Lucia from Pepe and Astrid, and thanks for letting us share. Thank you, Lucia, for being here. Greetings. And Vixie Sega says if it's not life.
Hello, Gabriel Duran. How are you?
Greetings, Gabriel, Vixie, to the whole community. Awesome. Well, hey, let's go. We keep talking here. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
No. Remember that we're on Telegram, that we're on WhatsApp. We send you the latest notifications about what's happening so you don't miss the live streams. And we'll see you tomorrow. We're also on Facebook, X, and Insta.
We have a recommendation for you for Saturday. It's really good. I don't want to say anything more about the series we're watching, but it's really good. It's very entertaining. And sometimes you do need a bit of entertainment too, right? Just to relax a little. Christine says, I remember a file. She says that this girl used to upload videos and photos of herself with a lot of people in the train tunnels and of her breastfeeding. It was the start of the war. She's not an influencer. It's just intense. Regards, Christian. From Christine.
Regards from the dad. No, it's an inside joke between a couple. I'm leaving you since you never understand me. Where are you leaving me?
Oh, check his ear.
I don't think he'll say it.
I think he saw it. You want me to check his ears?
Greetings. Hurricane Rabin's hit hard. Thanks. Yes, Chises. You too. No. Greetings from Winkoff. How have you been? Big greetings to the whole community. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Let's go. We're here early in the morning. See you later. Assalamu alaikum. We interrupt your regular programming.
Thank you for tuning in to La Verdad. This is PP. Live.
The truth is intense. The unusual is real. We analyze it here. Global perspective. Don't miss out. Tune in to PP Live at the controls. Pepe and Astrid telling it like it is. Raw journalism. Respect is shown here.
Turn on notifications. Don't lose track until next time.
Yes, sir. We're taking attendance. Subscribe.